Hi guys, how we doing? So, I actually managed to make it out here 2 days in a row without too many problems. And I finally get to finish my target, or at least the front of my target. There we go. Well, that's the one I actually like here. That's too small. There we go. So I did take some time and actually really cleaned a lot of my brushes, which you really do have to do occasionally. I do need to put more red down. Excuse me. So I hope today is going well for all of you. I'm actually having a pretty peaceful one myself. Hoping and praying that my other half's day is going nice and smooth. He stays busy during the day and usually talks to me in the evenings, which it's kind of interesting to hear how things are going and what's different. I mean, his job is very, very different than anything I've ever done, so it's really neat for me to get to hear not only, what he's doing, but his level of enthusiasm for it. It makes a big difference. There we go. Okay, that was the one smooth stroke that I'm probably going to get today, so we're going to take it for what it was. That was the only time I think I've ever had it go that nice and neatly on. I am going to have to do a second brush, though, because some of these spots are a little smaller than that brush can get into. And we want it to be fairly smooth. And that will smooth out a little bit more even after I start working on the bow. That's better. I feel like this needs that pop of red because I am going with so many really more natural and neutral tones. Would it really be a piece that I did if it didn't have some kind of pop to it? And as I've said before, I am doing this one the way I really want it to look because this is actually going in my living room. And I like things, that I'm going to see every day to be aesthetically pleasing to my eye, specifically. Just kind of looking at it from your point of view for just a second. And I am going to stick to the small small brush for the center piece here. And my spinny table is not helping me right at this moment. It has decided it wants to spin whether I want it to or not. There we go. Now let's go clean up some lines here. I do apologize if my arm is in your way. Just wanted to get those lines nice and neat and tidy there. All right. So now I'm just thinking for a moment, trying to figure out what my next color is going to be here. I think we're going to use, well, I guess that much of that. There we go. So what I just did, it is a very similar tone to some of the other browns, but not, I think we might actually need to lighten it just a little tiny bit. Basically what we're going to do real quick is these cords. And I think we might use the same for the string of the bow. But just for giggles, we're actually going to make it a little bit shimmery, just to add a little bit of that touch that I gotta stick in there somewhere, right? I will not be using this brush because the bristles are a little bit too loose, but it is working well for mixing my color. Trying to figure out how to make it the tone I kind of want it to be without going the wrong direction with it. I really don't want to add more white, but I need to get it a little bit of a different base tone. And hopefully you can actually see what I'm doing. I'm testing it against the brown from yesterday, but it's just not giving me the color I want it to be. Ooh. Well, if I could get it to come out. This is one of those colors I don't use often because it's just not a super pretty color. It's a little bit of a yellowy tone, but it's a yellowy brownish tone. And that did exactly nothing. You can hear my conures that were so cute earlier in my short, sitting there just bickering away. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Now to switch brushes. Oh, Zelda is offended. I am going to poke my head out real quick and see what Zelda is offended by. I will be right back. What are we screaming about? It really is like having children sometimes. They have their own little personalities. Today's huge offense was Sunny was sitting on the perch she wanted to be on. Those two are too funny. Some days they really act like a bonded pair. Other days they act like siblings that sometimes we question how much they actually like each other. But I guess that's normal for couples of any species. You have your days where you're perfect, and you have your days where you're just trying not to kill each other. So no two people are ever going to agree about every single thing all the time. And I guess it's the same with animals as well. There's just days you gotta fight it out a little bit. I don't make a lot of fuss about those days because fighting stinks, but making up is a lot of fun. And it's a normal part of any relationship. You're just gonna have your days. Which I am happy to say he and I very rarely have those days. But they do occasionally happen. And that's pretty normal. I really like that tone. I am very happy with that color. And I think we are definitely going to do the drawstring, or the bowstring as well. Make it match, right? I'm not trying to go super crazy today. The weather is still a little bit rough. And with me being the person in the house right now, I don't want to leave my pets unsupervised for too terribly long. So I was going to do something and then I changed my mind on it. Just trying to decide what color to make this. But I think now that I've got the other stuff done, we're going to add just a little hint. Actually, where's my green chrome shift? I see my purple, I see my black. I know I have it around here somewhere. There's my pink, there's my green. This is me just taking liberties. I'm actually mixing that green into the brown just a little bit. And just kind of creating this neat little brownish green tone for that feather. We don't want it to match to anything else because nothing else that he's wearing is feathered. So with the fact that I have two green birds, you cannot tell me that green is not a good color for feathers. But I think today is just going to be about just the little details. I think we're going to darken this side up a little bit here. That's a little too small. There we go. I'm not going super nuts mixing on this because it is a wood grain. I don't think I've ever seen a wood all perfectly the same color, unless it was painted. Oops. I mean to paint his finger. That happens though. You've seen me cover up a few little oopses like that over time. There we go. I am very much a fan of how this is starting to turn out. I like things like this. Just fun little projects. And I think I'm going to have a little bit of fun. I'm just kind of creating its own little color over here for this. So I'm not going all the way back because this is kind of leaning against the target. And I think that's going to be our stopping point for today. I think I'm pretty happy with the progress we made. So hopefully tomorrow we'll finish up the last little detail, which would be... Actually, you know what? Before I do finish up, we're going to take... a little bit more of this green, because there is something that is feathered. Maybe the bird that gave him the feather from his hat gave him the feathers for his arrows as well. I do kind of feel bad. I realize I am hardcore poking him in the eye there. But since we haven't got his eyes painted on yet, that kind of works. So, I'm pretty happy with him for now. Let me know what you guys think. And I will be back tomorrow to kind of start adding in some details. So, I'll talk to you guys next time.